So, ladies and gents, getting back into another incredible student interview with Babak, who is actually a proud member of Copy Paste Agency. He's making $9,000 a month servicing the solar niche. And yeah, we get into, as always, a very interesting discussion, everything from business to personal life to, a lot of times on these student interviews, like, if I notice a little discrepancy, or I notice somewhere where a person isn't doing as much as they could do, or maybe an oversight, I'll mention it directly on the student interview. And that's one of the fun things, is these student interviews is literally like it's literally conversations that I'm having either way with members within the GrowYourAgency, except we just roll the cameras, right? And there's a lot of insight that comes from it. So as always, down below, you can find a link to the updated 2021 Copy Paste Agency case study page. You don't have to opt in, nothing like that. Don't have to put in your email. You can just watch exactly from a high level view how our students are getting these sort of results. And then from there, you can book in a call with Max, my student success manager. Copy Paste Agency is by application only, and that's because we have a full money back guarantee. Basically, if you enroll and within 14 days you are not happy, not only will we refund you, we'll actually send you $100 for wasting your time. And the only way we can do such a crazy guarantee is because Max has to accept you. And Max has to, number one, accept you, and second, know in his heart of hearts that our program can help you, and that also you are the sort of student and you are the sort of member that we would want inside of the copy paste agency community, because it is so ridiculously tight knit in there. And yeah, we're very selective as to who we let in. As I said, because we take all the risk on our side, number one, and number two, quite frankly, because we've got an incredible thing going on in terms of the community aspect of it, and we really don't want to ruin that. So go ahead, make sure you book in a call with Max, and let's roll this interview. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another student interview. We are here today with Babak, all the way from bleak, depressing Montreal. We were just having a conversation before the cameras were rolling. What's more depressing right now, Montreal or London? But yeah, with no further ado, very excited for this one. Babak is making around $9,500 a month with his agency serving the solar niche. And I said we're going to get into a pretty fun conversation here. So first things first, how long you been in the space?
So for me, I first started kind of doing self-employed work. I won't call it agency work yet, because it was just me on Upwork sending like 3 proposals per day for animated explainer video back when I was like 18. So about 5 years ago. I'm 23 now. And after that, about 2 years later, now that was just like a fun side hobby. And after that, 2 years later, I started my first actual agency doing B2B LinkedIn lead generation when I was 21. And it took off very well. I was hitting 5-figure months after a couple months, but I kind of realized that it was dying because LinkedIn was starting to add all these restrictions and stuff. So it's not bad as a lead gen source for yourself, but to offer it to your clients, it's dangerous, right? So I basically started transitioning out of that and wanted to go into something that's more, evergreen. So that's when I found Facebook, and I was looking for a few niches that weren't saturated. I didn't want to go into, real estate or chiropractor, but I also didn't want to go into anything weird that nobody's tested before, like garage doors or something. So yeah, I found solar and got a few clients. They got good results, send me some referrals, and this is where we are now.
That's awesome. Just to backtrack real quick, because I have a rule. Basically, I just don't teach anything that I don't do personally. That's why I don't ever talk about LinkedIn. I never mention it because, as I said, I don't want to. The amount of times I've had students ask, "Hey, can we get some LinkedIn training?" I'm like, well, until I start doing it in my agency or use it as a way to get clients, it's just ethically, I don't feel right teaching something I don't actually do. But I've always found it to be very interesting as a service. I've always thought it was underutilized, or not enough people were offering LinkedIn lead generation as a service, especially for sort of high ticket B2B businesses. But I guess that sheds a little bit of light on it, because from what I do understand, if you're trying to run someone's LinkedIn lead generation, you have to use like some stuff with IP, they're just super annoying with IPs and just like who's logging in, and with Facebook, if someone has access to your Facebook account, it's like, it's fine. Like 4 people,
Exactly.
like like pretty much I have like six of my team members have access to my Instagram, log in from different parts of the world, no issues, this, that. But with LinkedIn, it seems like there's a lot of restrictions.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And some people might argue that, well, Facebook ads has restrictions as well. They might randomly disable your ad accounts, reject ads automatically and stuff. And that is true. But unlike LinkedIn, the service provider isn't trying to kill off the service, which is organic LinkedIn lead generation. They're not purposefully trying to make it die down, which is what LinkedIn was doing. They were adding, how many emails you could send, restrictions, how many people could be in an account, and they were asking ID verification for everything. So now you can't even make new accounts in some regions, and that's what I knew. Like I don't think this is something I can scale long term. To have like multiple employees. So I moved into something at least a bit more evergreen.
That's interesting. Yeah, that's very, very interesting, and it's very insightful of you, because I'll be honest, a lot of people in your position would have just been like so married to the idea of continuing what was working already for them.
Yeah.
One thing that's very interesting with you is you're only working with 3 clients, and they're bringing you in around
Yeah.
9,000 a month. Touch a little bit more on that. Why have you not scaled up more than that? Are you trying to? And kind of what's the relationship like with your clients?
Great. So yeah, basically how I managed to get to that number with only having 3 clients is when I first started getting into solar, I used LinkedIn, right, to find the leads. And then I got on a call with this company called Zero Energy, and they basically have multiple sales reps, right? And solar, it's kind of similar like real estate in the sense that when you're running ads, if it's residential, you're rarely running it for the company as a whole. You're running it for the agents in the company, right? Kind of like, if somebody's in Remax, you don't run the ads for Remax, you run it for the agent. So basically, once I pitched them my price of 2K per month, they told me that this is too high because that's what they're already paying for a company that's very established in the solar niche, and they need some sort of insurance that I can get them the results, right? So they wanted to do it lower, but for me, one thing I learned is to never just give a discount just for the sake of discounting, because then they're not going to respect you and there's going to be other issues down the line. So I said, okay, what about I give you the discount, but if we hit this many meetings, then there's going to be this bonus paid for each extra meeting after 5, because that's how much we guarantee my agency, at least 5 meetings in home consultations. So then they agreed, and then like in the first month, we started getting them like 10-15 meetings, which was what they were already doing, so it's like doubled. So yeah, I basically got paid those incentives. So then they referred me to somebody else in their agency. And I told them, hey, if you give me a referral, you basically get a couple $100 off your monthly retainer. So they referred me to one other person who also signed up with a similar offer. So that's how that happened. And the other client, for him, it's there's really for the other one, there's no incentive because it's B2B, it's in commercial. So it could take anywhere from 6 months to 1 year, get paid anything if I was to do some sort of incentive offer. So I just did a 3K per month contract. Right? Because even if they get a sale like every 6 months for a commercial solar, it's like in the hundreds of thousands, right? So it's going to be a massive ROI. So it made sense.
For sure. So in terms of outreach, where are you at with outreach? How much of it are you doing? Are you doing enough? Are you doing too little? Are you doing just the right amount?
Yeah, I would say I'm doing too little, to be honest. And like I should have had more clients, because I've had these 3 clients for like two months now. 2 or 3 months, and I haven't added any other. And this is, I mean, you could say I won't say it's because I'm getting comfortable. It's just because part of me is lazy. I just like going on LinkedIn, opening the automation tool, clicking a button, and then, okay, lead generation for the day is done, right? But I feel like I know that's not the right way to go at it. So right now I'm trying to figure out, what can I do to get more results? Should I, send more on LinkedIn, or should I do something else, maybe like Facebook organic outreach? So yeah, that's something I'm trying to figure out. But the volume I do currently on across 2 different LinkedIn accounts, I'm sending about 50 connections per day. So 100 in total. And that gets me anywhere from 1 to 2 calls per week.
Well, okay. That's awesome. That's awesome. So 1 to 2 calls per week. Why the no clients for the past 2 months? Is your business also, because obviously we've just come off the back of Christmas, New Year's.
Yeah.
Just in general, that's not the most ideal time to sign clients. Now, also for us, I've signed clients before. It was, let me get the year right. It was 2018. Yeah, going into 2019. I remember I was in Bali. I've signed clients on New Year's Eve before. I've signed clients on, we had a client onboarding call on Christmas. It was Christmas Eve this year.
Right.
So with some people, obviously, like also just different cultures, religions, this, that, that doesn't mean that things are at a standstill. But in the Western world, especially with traditional businesses, I mean, there's a solid 1 month where I tell everyone in copy-paste agency, if you're working with local businesses, especially, this is now really a good time to consolidate, look over your financials for the year, go start making that hire you've always wanted to hire, go spend a little bit more time with your appointment setters and train them up even more, go tweak your funnel, go look at the ads that you're running for the agency, et cetera, et cetera. So I guess, a long-winded approach to saying, if you're getting 1 to 2 meetings a week, why no clients over the past 2 months?
Yeah, definitely. That's something that was an issue for me as well. And I'd say the reason for that is because the first like month and a half that I was in solar, I was just talking to anyone and everyone that was in solar. And there's a lot of different like sub niches within solar, right? There's industrial, there's farm, there's large scale PV projects. And then those are sort of, they're blue ocean, but it's not recommended that you go in them because if no service provider has figured it out how to provide lead generation to those, you're probably not going to be the first one, right? But for me, I'd said, hey, like right now, these are 80% of the calls I'm getting. Only like 20% is with actual companies I can work with. But I can't cancel them because I'm not flooded. So I might as well go on them, see what I can do. So that was like the first month and a half, and that was around October. And then when I came December, I had that's when I had 3 clients by then. And around December, I had at least 4 people, 3 or 4 that I was 100% convinced they were going to sign up. But all 4 of them literally hit me up with the New Year's excuse, right? And I tried telling them, I joined the copy paste call and I asked, and you said, oh, just give them like 2 weeks extra. So, if you sign up now and we might as well, start, I save your spot. So I was like, yo, that's genius. So I went and decided to do that, but they still wanted to wait, right? And then after that, I just never heard from them again. But also because solar overall sales and numbers for everyone is less in the winter, right? At least depending on the areas you're targeting. Even though solar panels do work in the winter and like it doesn't change anything, there's just, I think, something in people's minds that associate like solar with the sun and summer and things like that.
I mean, even just real estate is slower in the winter.
Yeah. Definitely. But I think honestly, the core of the issue is just my lack of discipline. Like there's no way to sugarcoat it, right? Because there's so many ways I could have gone around that, but I just wanted to press that one LinkedIn send connections button and be done with it.
Yeah. So just to give people a little bit of context, what we were discussing on one of the CPA calls, it's what we do with a lot of our clients. Inevitably when you're bringing a client, I mean, everyone in copy-paste agency, is crazy fast at onboarding clients, right? Because we've SOP'd the shit out of it. It's, the fastest protocol. I developed it mid 2018. Obviously, since then, people have run with it and recreated it 100 times over, this, that. But, the whole idea that you can have a client kind of onboard themselves, in 60 minutes and get up and running with their ads within a week at the latest. But at the end of the day, that first week, most of the time, you're just getting the ads up. They still technically have to pay for that. And that's a hell of a lot better than, the 3 weeks they usually wait with the traditional agency, because you have the email back and forth. Hey, can I get your password here? Can I get a photo here? Blah, blah, this, that. And the funny thing is most agencies will charge a onboarding fee as well. So yeah, long story short, what Babak was referring to was basically, if you ever have clients like that, just tell them, hey, look, I'm happy to take payment today and we can start your next start your actual billing cycle on the first day that we run ads. Whereas with most of our clients, you're paying for, in that case, you can tell them, you're paying for 7 to 10 days of prep getting off the ground. And yeah, you can do that as a way to secure the payment there, then and there. Other thing that you can do is you can also, especially towards the end of the year, you can frame it as a tax write-off for the end of the year. For some business owners, they want that. For some business owners, they don't want that. Obviously, it's it's different per client. but yeah, I know for a lot of business owners, they're looking for as many tax write-offs, in December as humanly possible. So that, these are all just different angles you can approach it, to try and get that, the sale over the line. Have you reactivated those leads?
No, not yet. I do plan on it though. I have a pretty good like new offer 2021 message. But you know what you said also about the onboarding, that's so true. Because before I joined CPA, I was charging like a setup fee and it would take like 10 to 14 days to onboard. Now it's like 1 day at most. I just send, the link, they go through the funnel, I get the information, that's it. And the whole thing takes like 10 minutes. So that was something awesome in the course.
Awesome. Good stuff. So in terms of team, are you running all the ads yourself?
Yeah, pretty much. Right now, it's just me. Back then, when I was running the LinkedIn company, the LinkedIn lead generation, my brother was doing it for me, so the lead generation aspect and stuff. But then I quickly realized you shouldn't hire family members, even if they do good. There's the vibe is different, right? So, but luckily the timing came with when I was planning to end the thing, anyways. So that was the end of that. But for now, it's just me, though I am planning to at least hire one VA soon so they can do the outreach for me and maybe, increase the numbers in case I'm too lazy to do it.
um, well, one thing that popped to mind is, have you tried to formulate any sort of fallback offer for these leads that, aren't 100% fit for your done for you? By any chance, could you coach them? By any chance, could you do some sort of knowledge transfer, like maybe set up, do a done for you setup campaign on the first month and then show them how to manage it? Or is there anything like that?
I mean, I hadn't thought about it, but that's a pretty good idea. Yeah, that is actually something I could do. I could teach them how to do the LinkedIn lead generation themselves if they're, say, a B2B company or a commercial industrial solar company where, the leads won't necessarily be on Facebook ads or Instagram ads. And I could charge, maybe a one-time consulting fee for that, or, maybe make a course and sell it to them. That is definitely cool.
Okay. Amazing. Switching gears, what does your, really, what are your dreams and aspirations with your agency? Because, to give you context, we have, as you know, we have people in CPA, a few people in there doing over 100K a month profit. And obviously, with the more money you make, the more responsibility, team, more clients, this, that. And, these, guys and gals are zoned in, 6 days a week, 12 hours a day. And then we've got people who are like, dude, I like making my 15, 20 grand, living a pretty simple life, traveling the world, working, 2-3 hours a day, managing an appointment setter who sets my leads for me. I only need 5-6 meetings a month from the appointment setter. My team handles the service delivery. I'm not exactly going to be buying G-Wagons and Rolls Royces, but I fucking work 2-3 hours a day and then I enjoy the rest of my life. So, and both sides are awesome. Both sides are so cool because it's just these people know what they want from life and how their business can best serve them. How does your agency slot into your life?
Right. Yeah. For me, I would definitely say I relate more to the second one, which is, maybe building it to 15, 20K per month profit and then automating it. And it's not necessarily because I just want to go to like Thailand and relax, but it's more because for me, like, I like agency building, I like business and Facebook ads and things like that, but it's not like a burning passion. I don't care that much about like, spreading solar across the world and, getting it into Africa and Morocco and changing the universe. It's like, I like it, I find it interesting, but there's no burning passion in that level, at least. So for me, it's more like ever since I was a kid, I kind of wanted to get into the creative, video game film industry. But I realized like almost everyone that goes into these at university and stuff is like living with 8 roommates. They're barely getting by. So I was like, okay, there's no way I can get on the rat race. I'll figure out my own way to do it, but I need something to support me financially. And that's why, I started the agency. So once I fully automated, and I'm going to put more effort into going in that direction, but still keep the agency running, right? Kind of as a way to support my lifestyle until I work on that bigger main project, which I'm already working on a little bit.
That's awesome. So, what does a normal day in your life look like?
Yeah, so for me, I basically usually wake up around 9 a.m. So I go to bed around 2, which is not that good. You know, my Oura Ring score is like always below 70. So yeah, that's something yeah you shouldn't do. But yeah, I sleep around 2, 1:30, wake up around 9, 9:30. And then from there, when I wake up, first thing I do is I just make coffee, and then I do 5 minutes of meditating, and then I just go watch, some YouTube videos or just relax, do, time wasting stuff for an hour. And then around 11, that's when I start to work. And then I usually work a good like 3 hours of focused work before I start getting a headache. And then, I relax and watch course videos, YouTube videos, CPA videos, and, take notes. And then from there, around 3 to 4, that's when I usually eat. So I don't, I do intermittent fasting. So I usually eat around 3 to 4. And before that, well, I work out at home because gyms are closed now. So, I do the push-ups and, sit-ups and stuff. And then that's around, 4, then I just eat. And 5, I do one last checkup on the business and everything. See if there's, any leads that need replying to. And yeah, then from there, I just relax for the rest of the day.
That's awesome, man. That's a cool lifestyle. Yeah, I love it. I
Yeah,
love it.
thanks.
Yeah, dude, you're gonna have absolutely zero issue getting to 15, 20K a month. Like it's put your head down. I mean, you know what you need to do, and you're gonna be there. And I mean, those leads, just reactivate those leads, and your average client right now is worth $3,000 to you. There you go. Just those 3, 4 leads that you were 100% convinced were gonna come on board. Close them up, and there you go. You're literally at your dream income, or your goal income. And as you said, you've got your other passions that you can focus on. Um, so if someone was looking to get into the solar niche, like what are some of the biggest pitfalls you tell them to look out for?
Yeah, good question. So I'd say one of the pitfalls is it's not like the typical local business lead generation, right? Like the foundations are still true in the sense that I wouldn't recommend, choosing audience based on interests and, things like that. So, the core fundamentals are still there, but solar, it's like a hybrid between B2B and B2C because assuming you're doing residential, which is what most solar lead generation people are doing, they're you're selling to people, to customers, but the panels are anywhere between 15 to 50 or $60,000 depending on the home, right? So it's kind of like B2B prices, and that sometimes slows down the lead generation. So you got to let the client know upfront that he's going to need a budget of at least like 1,200 US dollars, right? And that's just to maybe get five appointments or 6 appointments, and that's in areas that are not even too competitive. Like if you're in LA, where there's the most solar concentration in all of North America, it's not strange for a lead, just a lead form, fill up a lead form to be like $100 or maybe even more, depending on which areas you're targeting. So I'd say that's the first one. Don't work with anyone that has like a budget of 500 or 600 per month. Maybe that works in real estate or something, but it's not going to work in solar, right?
Hmm.
Second thing I would say is um, a lot of electricity companies they're kind of pushing some slander against solar, right? They're just saying things that are not true, like your electricity cost is actually lower than your solar costs, which makes no sense, and things like that. So sometimes, like say you're in real estate and you book a meeting, the person's not going to find anti-real estate information on Google and say, I don't want to buy a house. But somebody might Google solar panels, and then there's these huge multi-corporations, electricity companies talking about how terrible it is, like your roof is going to collapse and stuff. And that might actually cause a higher cancellation rate. So I found that one way to, and I figured out this was one issue for me just because some of my clients would say, hey, the lead randomly brought this up, right? And things like that. So they Google it, then suddenly they get appointment setter's remorse, right? So one way to combat that, I would say, don't put a meeting out more than 3 to 4 days. Don't allow them to book like 2 weeks or 3 weeks in advance, but like 4 or 5 days. And I also like to have an acknowledgement section at the bottom of my form, which says, by booking this meeting, I acknowledge that I will not cancel or be absent during the appointment because I respect others' time, and it would be unfair to those who would have booked in my place if I don't show up. So yeah, that's something that's good. And I say you also definitely, without a doubt, need go high level. So that's like a automation software which sends out text messages automated, not affiliated with them in any way, but that's something that's helped me a lot.
That's awesome. Well, As I knew it would be. It was extremely insightful chat, especially that end bit for people that want to get into solar. I mean, that's, those three things were absolute gold.
Thank you.
So yeah, that's pretty much on my side for the questions. As I said, just want to thank you so much for jumping on and sharing your wisdom.
Yeah, the pleasure is mine. Thank you for the opportunity.